Erica and I just ran the Disney Princess Half Marathon, and we learned a lot about running and ourselves.
Or I could do it like you. We just ran the Disney Princess Half Marathon and learned a lot about running and ourselves. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Here we go!
If you do not know Erica, this is my wife, Erica, my most important person in the world. And she and I just ran the Disney Princess Half Marathon. You actually talked me into it. So Why this one? Because they'd have a bunch and we could obviously run a local race.
Yes.
But why did you want to do this one?
We are not runners normally. So just running a half marathon, through the streets of Atlanta does not sound as appealing to me as running through the Magic Kingdom, let's say, at Disney World. So really wanted to do it together as a couple, dress up together. And
I don't know how you talked me into it, but who did we dress up as and why?
So we dressed up as Rapunzel and Flynn Rider from the Disney movie Tangled, but there were people in full on ball gowns running half marathon.
So what's the backstory? You said we're not really runners, but why, whether it's a Disney princess or not, why the 13.1 miles? I mean, half marathon is a challenge, legit. Why did you want to run personally?
Yeah. So when I ran the Disney Princess Half in 2016, I just wanted to be able to say that I had run a half marathon. But in the last 4 years, we've totally changed our eating and health, and we're in a really good place and have started challenging ourselves with new things. And so we wanted to be able to really come at this as runners, which sounds weird to say now, but I do consider myself a runner.
So let's talk about training.
Okay.
Every Tuesday and Thursday since last October, we've done 30 minutes of running. Sometimes they were jogging, sometimes they were a little bit of walking, but those were Tuesday, Thursdays, and then every Saturday, sometimes a Sunday, but every weekend, they increase the distance. And every once in a while you go back, so you get a little rest, but you start off with 2 miles the first week, then 3, then 4, then 5, and then by the time you get to 6, I think they take you back, give you a little bit of rest, and then 7, 8, 9, that kind of thing. First day of half marathon training. The race is in February, so I have 19 weeks to go.
This is officially week 2 of training, and today's run did not go very well. Good thing we still have several more months.
We actually timed out pretty perfect to have some milestone races in there to keep our motivation up. Yeah. Right. And so the first one was a 5K. So I remember getting at the end of that race and be like, oh, I ran a 5K. And I was so excited about that.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
it's a huge accomplishment.
Which is a huge accomplishment.
It is. Yes.
I'm not taking that away from anybody or
when you start out, that's a huge accomplishment.
Or me in October.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was the gold medal at that time.
Yes.
And so we had a few more weeks, and then right around Christmas, we did a Christmas themed 10K, which is just over 6 miles. And we timed it exactly. It worked perfect.
Yeah.
To be on our week, we were supposed to run 6 miles. And that one was super cool because it was a nighttime race through Christmas lights and whatever down at Callaway Gardens.
I did good. I did 6.38 in 1 hour and 14 minutes. Average pace was about 11 minutes and 36 seconds.
Nice job. Yep. So we said and one of the things I forgot in the beginning was that Taylor, our 16-year-old, went through this whole process with us. And so, but she's 16 and has all this energy. So we're the old people that this is a big deal. You know what I mean? So she ran that 10K with us as well.
Just finished up week 9 training, which was 8 miles. Not gonna lie, I was a little bit nervous before I left this morning.
It's Christmas Eve, and that is no reason not to train for a half marathon. It is 10 degrees outside, -5 as it feels like, but I still ran at the gym. It is the last day of 2022, December 31st, and I had to run 9.5 miles today.
I would just love for one of these runs to be awesome run. Never. I feel like it's never gonna happen, but that's okay because it's still done.
I think it was 9.5 miles was not Christmas Eve, New Year's Day. We'd basically just run 9.5 miles, and that was a huge accomplishment. We were exhausted, and something terrible happened on that day that really changed the course and the emotional trajectory of the whole experience for you.
Yeah.
You want to tell that story real fast in the short version?
Sure, yeah. So we came home, I started putting away Christmas decorations, and I was carrying this big tub and ran right into a Christmas tree stand barefoot and broke 2 toes on my left foot.
I am not allowed to run for the next 4 weeks. I guess now it's been a week. So 5 weeks total I'm not allowed to run. I have been cleared to do the bike. Hopefully, miraculously, I can go from running not at all to running 13.5 miles or whatever in 5 weeks.
Yeah, so I definitely was not gonna back off. I could not physically run. I mean, it hurt too bad, otherwise I would have done it. But I could not back off because we really wanted to, come at this race from a different place, like we were working hard on improving our time. And every Saturday when AJ would go for his run, I would try to calculate how long it would take me to run that distance and then bike that same amount.
How did you maintain that level of I can do this, knowing that one, you may not be able to? Emotionally, where were you at as you got into maybe 2 weeks out?
So it was tough. I mean, I was disappointed, but I was not gonna let it stop me.
Just finished up week 16 training, and as you can see behind me, I am on the road. Today was my first time running in about 5 or 6 weeks.
And I don't know that you were officially cleared yet, but you went on the last long run of the training program, which was 14 miles.
Right.
It's been pouring down rain. You can't tell, but my whole body is just soaking wet. My hat is soaking, and the back of my compression socks is just covered in mud, and it's been really emotional today. I just think, who would have thought that I'd be out here running or walking or whatever for 3 hours in the rain, freezing cold on a Saturday for 14 miles.
Came back that day extremely emotional. Yep, still emotional. Just proud of myself, honestly, for being at this point in my life here at this age that I'm not gonna say, to be able to go out and run 14 miles or walk 14 miles.
Proud of you.
Thank you.
This is the last Saturday before, so next Sunday is the race. Took it easy today, really just trying to make sure that I'm stretched and muscles are good and everything and breathing is good in preparation for the race next week. Let's talk about the race. We talked about emotions leading up to it, whatever. I set one word. And I don't know if you did this. I know we talked about it, but I said, hey, I'm gonna have one word, that I'm just gonna think on the starting line, and the whole time I'm doing the race, I just want to run all my experiences through this word, 1 or 2 words. And I chose my word, and you should think it'd be something like perseverance or something like that. For me and my personality type, I had gotten so caught up in the performance element of all of this stuff. Somewhere along the way, I think I forgot to have fun. I forgot that we're going to a Disney race. We're not going to run for qualifiers for the Olympics.
Right,
you know what I
right.
mean? We're going to have fun. And so that was my word, was fun. You didn't set a word?
Like I said, a phrase is that you can do hard things. One of the things I've learned about myself in the last couple of years is that I can do hard things that I never thought I could do before. And it's okay to be proud of myself. And so that's kind of what spurred me on.
Today's the day that I run a half marathon at Disney World. It is 3 a.m. Couldn't sleep last night. I was so excited and popped right out of bed this morning at 2, ready to go. So see how this goes.
One of my favorite things was starting the race with you. And so
That was special. For me, because AJ runs so much faster than I do, we don't normally run together. On training days, we ran on the same day, but there was only one time in the entire training where we actually ran together. He slowed way down for me, and it was fun. It was good to run together.
We are 30 seconds away from this race starting. You ready?
Yeah.
we take off, they do the fireworks, and I have your injury in my mind this whole time, and I don't know what your intentions are during race day.
Right, yeah.
You woke up and your legs felt fine and you were walking fine, but we hadn't really communicated about okay, so are you gonna do a run walk combo, or are you gonna walk the whole thing? I just start getting my groove and whatever, and I get up to my pace that I know I can maintain,
Yeah.
and you're still with me.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
you were like, should you slow down
Yeah.
or stop or something? Yeah.
Legitimately, and it was probably not more, it's 2 minutes maybe, right?
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
you did have a walk run strategy.
Yes.
And so I didn't know that though, but you were gonna run for 2 or 3 minutes at a time and then walk?
Yeah.
When you got to that first walk, I didn't say anything to you, you didn't say
Right.
anything to me. I think it was just that
I just
moment
peeled
of,
off to the right.
yeah, it was just that moment of, okay, we are here.
Yeah.
We've arrived.
Yeah.
Have fun. Talking about the race, you start from Epcot, or kind of behind Epcot.
Yeah, you start in Cass Parking.
You run all the way to the Magic Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
You run through the Magic Kingdom, and then you run all the way back to Epcot. So, where it's 5 a.m., we're running, and you're basically just running down the highway, essentially.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so it's dark, but this is when the adrenaline's high because there's
Right.
so many people around you
Yeah.
that even though your pace is probably slowed because you're crammed, like the adrenaline is high.
Yeah.
And I did not know there were mile markers. Did you
Yes,
know there
yes,
were going to
yeah,
be
yeah.
mile markers? So our friend Doreen said, and she's run plenty of these, she said, hey, take 13 gummies with you and gummy bears and just eat a gummy bear every mile. And I'm thinking, how am I going to know every mile? Well, there's this huge sign at every mile.
Right, yeah.
And I was like, I remember seeing the first one and I felt like I'd only been running for like 2 minutes.
Right, yeah.
You know, and I saw
Yeah.
the first sign and I'm like, wow, I'm already here.
Yes,
But
right, yeah.
It's because there's so much going on.
Right.
I loved going under the Magic Kingdom parking.
Yes.
Because you're on the road. And
Right,
so like
yeah.
they have it's like the 10 lanes where you would normally pay for parking.
Yes.
You get to run through it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that
It's
was
great.
super cool. Running through the Magic Kingdom, you'd done it, I had not.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I'm not a super emotional guy.
It's very emotional. I don't know. Like the first time I did it, I cried. This time I didn't cry, but I did still feel like the tug at my heartstrings. So
I've run through the park several times in my life, but mostly to meet a fast pass time.
right,
You know?
chase your child.
Yeah, like this though was like an intentional run,
Right.
you know, and it just felt so good. Going through the castle was awesome.
Yeah.
Probably the most magical part. And then all of a sudden you go out the back.
Yep.
And it's not even like an exit. It's like a cast member
No,
thing.
you're back on the road.
And you are back on the road. And my biggest challenge was around mile 9. It was almost 7 o'clock. And this is like, for those of you who do Disney, we had park reservations that day. And at 7 o'clock is when you can get your Genie,
Genie
Plus stuff
Yeah.
for your attractions you want. So we wanted to ride Rise of the Resistance that day, and I needed to buy the thing for that
Yeah.
at 7.
Right.
So I have an alarm set, you know, and it's ringing in my ear, but I don't want to stop.
Right.
You know, so
course
here I
not.
am. I'm running with my phone and I'm jostling like this, and I'm all sweaty, so like I really can't even see that well. And so I'm trying to buy. I don't know how much it costs, and I don't know what time I got it for. You know, like I'm just trying to do it. And so I'm doing that, and I pass the porta potties at that time.
Yeah.
Right? I see them, but like I pass it because I'm too busy.
Right.
And I had to go to the bathroom. Like I really did have to go. But I pass it. There'll be some soon. There was I swear, no porta potties from mile 9-ish to 11.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, I actually went to a medic tent because I saw a porta potty and the guy said, no, you can't use this unless you're hurt. And he's like, there's one in the
You're like, I'm injured.
yeah, there's 1.5 mile. I'm like, I don't know if I'll make it a half mile.
Yeah, yeah.
And I did. I made it the half mile. I see the line of porta potties and I go use the restroom, and it restroom accomplished, right? But I stepped out of the porta potty, and this was my biggest challenge, was my right leg in the 20 seconds I stopped, completely locked up. I mean, just could not bend the leg. And I'm trying to walk out of the grass back to the road, and I'm hobbling.
That's not
And
good.
here I was, I'd run the whole time. I
Yeah.
had not stopped yet.
Yeah.
And so in my mind, that was that one moment where I thought, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like the sweepers are gonna come get me.
Yeah.
Like this is when I'm done. And it was the time in the race that I had to mind over body, or whatever they
Right.
say for
Yeah.
that. I had to say no. Like
We're
you
doing
might,
this.
You might injure yourself, but you're going to push through.
Right.
You're going to loosen this up. You're going to do something. You're going to break it. Like something's going to happen.
But I am finishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it took, I would say, 2 or 3 minutes, and it started to feel better and better and better.
Yeah.
And I started to push harder. I'm not a runner, so I don't really know if this was a good idea. So if this is a bad idea, I'd love for someone to tell me. But I just ran harder,
Right.
and I had 2 miles to go. And those 2 miles, I just kept pushing a little bit harder until the pain stopped. And then I was flying.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the fastest I ran in the entire race was the last 2 miles. I actually don't know what was on the sidelines at all of the last 2 miles.
Yeah.
Because I was just flying. I was grateful for that. And I don't know, I mean, if I hadn't had that injury or
Yeah.
that moment, would I have pushed it so hard? You know, I
Right,
have
right,
no
right.
idea. But I was super grateful and ended up with a respectable time, in my opinion. For-
Much more than respectable. It
for-
was great.
For my age and my non-runningness, I felt good about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I crossed the finish line. I'm eating a banana and I'm stretching, and I finish my stretch whenever, and then I go to the start or the finish line, so I can watch you walk across the finish line.
Run across the finish line.
I meant run, walk. You know, because
Yes.
that's what we all did. Anyway, I got to see you come across the finish line.
Yeah.
And that was a sweet moment. You had no idea. Like, you couldn't, there was so much going on. You didn't
Right.
really see
I
me.
couldn't see you, but I knew that you saw me.
I was screaming. I was like, Erica! And so I was screaming your name.
It was just neat to run with other people, just seeing like people that are obviously at the very beginning of their journey, you know, and just being proud of them, even though I didn't know them, you know, just like you talk about my 2 on the Enneagram. Like I was like encouraging people as I was running, you know, when they look tired, but it was neat to see them, you know, get out and just to know that like it doesn't really matter where you start, like physically, like anyone can do this. Even if you can only run for 5 seconds and then walk for a minute, like just keep getting out there and doing it is the important part.
I think this race, and I haven't run a lot of races, but this race seemed to have a lot of people that had a mission behind why they were running.
Right.
So like I had a mission behind it, whatever, but it was very selfish. You know what I mean? It's very personal development, whatever. But a lot of people were doing it for something outside of themselves, right?
Yeah.
They were doing it for someone or for a charity or in honor of something.
A lot of people get bib numbers through charities, and so they would have on the back of their shirt like why they were running, you know, who they were running for, and people had, you know, in the past come and done these runs with their children that were in wheelchairs who had passed away, and so, you know, running in their honor, and so it was neat. There was a lot of inspiring stories.
You and I talked about this already, but for me, we've always been Disney people.
Yes.
We worked at the parks. We've been going to Disney since we were kids.
Yeah.
This gave me, the Run Disney gave me the opportunity to achieve something with the theming around something that I've always loved,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
And for me, it took both worlds and allowed me to do both on the same trip because I was accomplishing something while I was
Right,
there.
right.
And I got, you know, cool swag and whatever because I was a runner at this event.
Yeah.
Not something you could walk into the Emporium and just buy.
Right. Yeah.
And so for me, doing the Disney races really works because it gives me a goal to shoot for.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of you.
Me too. I'm proud of you.
It was a lot of fun. Thanks for challenging me to do it because you were the one that did that.
Yeah.
You come walking towards me and you have a thing against sweat and slobber and all of that. You have a sensory aversion to those things. And you came walking and you were exhausted, you know, and you were walking slow and I'd already stretched and whatever, and there was no way. I was not wrapping my arms fully around you to let you know that I was proud of you. And I was still dripping cool down towel, Gatorade, you know what I mean? And you were, and
Totally
the
soaked.
look on your face when I approached you, you knew that it was happening.
Yeah.
And you looked like you could not want to, I mean, you wanted to be anywhere but in that moment because you wanted the hug, but you
did.
did not want that hug.
Right. No. Yeah.
So that was definitely a favorite moment.